Yo guys. Today we're gonna talk about language barriers. I almost said barriers, like career, but it's barriers. Language barriers and how to break them. And well, there's different kinds. Today we're gonna talk mostly about speaking barriers, where it's hard, it's difficult to start a conversation, it's difficult to express yourself, and stuff like that. So if you hear me well, just put a thumb up. If you don't, yes, we got a first viewer on Facebook. Awesome. So, and 6 on Instagram, we got it. So guys, please write it down. Like, what is the biggest barrier for you? Is it that it's difficult for you to start a conversation, so you are afraid? Or is it that you are kind of like, you are speaking, but you don't know a lot of words, and it's difficult for you to be really like free, fluent? Or maybe you just always mix up, you always think about the grammar and you make mistakes, and then you stop and then you think again, so it's difficult. So that's all speaking barriers. You can also have listening barrier, where you don't really understand what another person wants to say to you, and you just kind of like, you can't even answer well because you don't understand. So all those are different kinds, and please just write it down. What's yours? What is your biggest problem? And while you do that, I'm gonna be reading the test. Very bad signal. Is the sound and the video good? If it is good, put the like. If it's not, don't. And also maybe you can write from 1 to 10 the quality of sound and audio. It's probably bad. Roman says that it's good. Okay, perfect. So anyway, just let me know, what is difficult for you? Is it speaking? 10, wow, perfect. So guys, just write. Is it starting to speak? That's first type. Is it coming up with words and phrases? Or is it you don't have system, you don't understand grammar and stuff like that? What is your biggest problem? Or is it even not speaking but listening? So first point here is you gotta define your barrier type. What is stopping you? And then you can work on this specific problem. Nice, I'm glad. So guys, please write it down. You can write it for yourself. You can write it here so we can analyze how many people have speaking problems, listening problems, maybe fears. And right here, I have a questionnaire where I was asking my subscribers, my followers. There were 300 people, and what I noticed, most of them have problems with speaking. So I can just read it for you. Conversations, it's like the answer. What's your biggest problem? The answers are speaking, pronunciation, communication. Okay, vocabulary, that's a different one. It's just like that you don't have enough vocabulary and you can't express yourself. Then conversational speaking, like colloquial. Okay, laziness, not a lot of time, not a lot of practice. Dialogues. Okay, lack of consistency, that's also a big problem. And it's all very much linked. So lack of consistency and laziness goes along with the lack of system and the fear and the difficulty to speak, because it's all like one big ball of problems. And that's because basically you don't have a goal. You just don't have a goal, and all other stuff doesn't matter. you always find like excuses to not learn English instead of finding reasons to do it. So that's the biggest problem. So what we're gonna start from right now is, first of all, you gotta define your biggest problem. Is it speaking? Is it the fear of speaking? Is it vocabulary? Whatever it is, mostly for speaking, there's only one way to improve your speaking. You gotta speak, right? To speak English, you gotta, guess what? Speak English. So if that's your problem, you gotta set yourself a speaking goal. Like, for example, a good goal is numbers, specificity. Specificity. Anyway, and you gotta put deadline. So for example, good specificity. You want to go from your level of English, which is like any level, to one up. Like, for example, you have intermediate level and you want to get to upper intermediate, or upper intermediate to advanced. You just set yourself a goal, like go up one level in 3 months, for example. Yeah, that's a good period of time for one level. And you just set that and you say how you're going to measure it. So, for example, I'm going to go to London and speak English, or I'm going to be able to understand and express myself freely, fluently, when I talk to my friends on Skype. So you need to have the goal plus the reason you do it. So the reason might be anything, might be connecting with your friends. It might be getting getting a new job, a promotion. I have some students who started a personal course with me because they really needed to get a promotion, and they didn't because of their level of English. So that's pretty simple. You just need a big purpose, something that would like really fuel you. You would want to do that. And second of all, you need numbers, a goal. So you got that? That is the answer to everything. If you got it, you're gonna move 10 times faster. You're gonna find a way. It doesn't really matter how you learn, to be honest. Like, there's different types of people. There's different types of personalities where you're like, you like watching stuff. Maybe you like reading stuff. Maybe you like listening to stuff. I like listening the most. Some people really like looking through pictures because they're more visual, It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is a big goal, and then enjoying yourself, doing stuff you like. And you can only do that by experimenting. And you're gonna only be experimenting if you have enough reasons to not give up, So it's easy to just like try something. It doesn't work, yeah, whatever. But if you continue step by step, you will break the language barrier. So the only real way to break the barrier is hit it every day, hit it, and then eventually you will break it, because you do it continuously. Every day you put some actions, you put some effort. So that's it. Basically, first of all, set yourself a real goal. Please do it right now. That would be the best. If you wouldn't be waiting till the end, blah, 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 just do it right now. Just set yourself a really juicy, motivating goal, and something that would really move you to the new level. And that's it. So a good example is, like I said, for example, like my closest goal is to learn Portuguese from basically, not zero level, but I know some Spanish. I speak Spanish fluently. To learn it to B2 level over the next 2 months. So that's pretty much it. And how am I going to be able to define it? I'm just going to see if I'm able to express all I want, most of the stuff I want, and if I'm able to understand, make friends, and feel free in Brazil. my next country is Brazil. I'm going there like in what, 3 days? So that's the goal. That's like, you have numbers, 2 months, B2 level, and you have specific purpose. I really want to connect with the people. I really want to discover the culture and live it, like totally, not just being a tourist visiting. I really want to live it through the language. And that might be a good reason for you too. But maybe you want to read Harry Potter. Maybe you want to get married with a foreigner, whatever. Maybe you want to emigrate to Canada. Anything. Just write a goal. Anything that fuels you. Okay? Good. And while you're doing that, just going to go through the next point. The next point is, yes, the next point is, well, okay, you have a goal, you want to speak, or you want to listen, like you want to improve your listen. Okay, what do you do? Well, in my opinion, it depends on you as well, but I can recommend you what I do and some other polyglot techniques. For example, if you really want to speak, and you don't really have access to native speakers, like you don't live in a country. That's not an excuse, of course. You have internet, first of all. You can go to italki.com. It's spelled italki.com. Go to italki.com. You just sign up, and you can find anybody. Like you can find people from America, from Mexico, from all over the world, and you can do language exchange with them. So you could teach them, for example, Russian or Ukrainian or Spanish or whatever language, and they could teach you their language, English, if that's your goal, of course. It works anyway. Plus, you can get really cheap teachers there, like for $5-6 an hour. You could get a native speaker that would listen to you and actually give you good feedback. He would say like, hey, this sounds not right, like this sounds unnatural, and this sounds good. So you would get instant feedback, and in my opinion, this is the best way to improve your speaking, is when you're speaking to a native speaker, of course. Or to your, like not a native speaker, but with a very good level, like proficient, advanced level. So they could hear your mistakes from the point of view of a, Thanks, you're a great motivator. Yo, Pietro, hello. Hello. So guys, I really recommend it for practice. So first of all, italki. Second of all, who of you knows about italki? If you do, put a like and maybe write a plus. If you do know about italki. I know you know, Pietro. You actually told me about it, and now I'm teaching as well. A lot of cool people. I'm meeting a lot of cool people from all over the world. Thanks, man. So, okay, there are some guys who know about italki. Perfect, good. So if you don't, just go ahead and sign up. You can actually watch my YouTube video about italki. It's called in Ukrainian, Praktika, як говорити англійською, practice. So it is pretty good, and there's a lot of practical advice, even more than you might expect. So moving along, we still have, 8 minutes? I promise it will be 25 minutes, 30 max. So what else? Another way to practice is speaking clubs, of course. Here we have Luigi from Lviv. He's organizing a very nice speaking club in Lviv, in Ukraine. And there's a bunch of them in Lviv and in your city, of course. Like wherever you live, you have a speaking club. And you just go there at least once a week and you expose yourself to real conversations, like live conversations. Of course, you're going to be afraid. Of course, it's going to be hard sometimes. But the good thing is that everybody, it's like friendly atmosphere. You meet in a cafe, in a restaurant, whatever, or outside, and you just talk to each other, meet each other. It's all very relaxed, so there's no pressure and you feel good. So that's what I recommend. I used to visit speaking clubs a lot, like a few times a week, different speaking clubs. So just Google for it, find Facebook groups, and you're gonna find something, I assure you. So that's the second thing, how to practice. And the third thing is when you say, oh yeah, there's no speaking clubs in my place, or I have bad connection, my internet sucks, I can't really speak on Skype, blah, blah, blah. What do? You speak with yourself. Sure, it's not that good as speaking to other people because you don't get real feedback. But what you do is you are not afraid to speak to yourself, of course. And you always, you're creating your sentences. And if you don't know some word, you just Google it. You just go to vocabulary, you got it. So this way, you kind of enrich your vocabulary. This is, in my opinion, the best way to enrich your vocabulary and to be able to express yourself, not impress, to be able to express yourself. Yeah, anyway, that's the third way. And to be honest, I do it with Spanish from time to time too. Just when I'm walking down the street, when I have a long walk, I just talk to myself, I record it on my phone. And then if you compare your recordings from like day 1 and day 21 or day 30, you'll see the difference. Because if you practice it every day, so what I recommend to you is doing it as an everyday practice, like at least 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, just speaking like on a phone. Like if you don't want to look weird, just put your phone here, walk down the street like you're talking to somebody in English, kind of. And then, well, I do it because I do it in Spanish here, and it's Buenos Aires, they all speak Spanish. So it sounds weird if I just talk to myself. I just put a phone here and I talk like I would talk to a friend in Spanish. You could do the same thing in English. And well, I'm just saying, do it and see the results in 3 weeks, for example. You'll see a big difference. And then if you also speak to natives on italki and go to speaking clubs, I'm telling you, your language barrier is going to just disappear after everyday work. So that's it. You got it. 3 practical advice. First one is talk to natives on italki.com, italki.com. Second of all, go to speaking clubs and find natives friends whenever you can, wherever you can. If you hear somebody speaking English on the streets of your city, don't be afraid, just come up and ask something. People are always curious, not always, but mostly they're curious to meet other people, to have interesting conversations. And you might find a good friend, who knows? So, and the third way to practice is just talking to yourself, or you could, if you also want to enrich your vocabulary, just journaling. You just write stuff, and this way you also enrich your vocabulary, but you won't train your pronunciation. This is also a very important point. If you want to speak well, you don't only need to know, good phrases, good words and stuff. You really need to have good pronunciation. Just think about it. If I start to speak like this Russian accent, like really strong Russian accent, and I don't really care about pronouncing like world, this sounds like even though I know a lot of phrases, and I know grammar a lot, okay, but still I just speak like it was Russian, okay. So it doesn't sound native. It doesn't sound fluent at all to me if you speak like that with an accent. Yes, oh no, but it happens. People do it. People really have B2, C1 level of grammar and understanding and everything. They can write a perfect essay for you, but then when they open their mouth, it sounds horrible, to be honest. But it's not a big deal. It's good that you speak even with bad accent. It's just that you gotta understand that it can be improved and it needs to be improved, because if it's not improved, some guy like me who pays attention to pronunciation will learn Portuguese, for example, for 2 weeks, 1 month, and I'll probably get to A2 level, where I have only basic conversations, but with good pronunciation, because it's important to me. And people would say, oh man, you speak so well, pretty cool. And another guy who's been learning Portuguese for a year, but didn't pay attention to pronunciation, they would probably put us on like the same level, even though it's not the same level at all. So he's much higher because he invested a lot of time into learning the language. So what I'm saying is you need to actually pay attention to pronunciation too. And this exercise, when you talk on the phone, kind of, to your friend, blah, 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 you just talk to yourself, it helps you to improve the pronunciation because you can listen to the audio and, yeah, this sounds not right, okay? So please try it. Let me know how it worked. I'm always curious to listen to your experiences. Just write it on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm always glad to help you answer any questions about language learning. And if it benefits you, it also benefits me, makes me happy. Anyway, guys, it's been 24 minutes and it's probably time to finish. Well, 21 minutes even. That's a good number. One of my favorite ones. I think a lot of people know why. Anyway, guys, if you got any questions. Yes, Ira just said, I think it's Ira, Irisaki Xia. I hope it's Ira. If it's not, please correct me. So ask any questions about breaking language barriers. I'm here. We still have a few minutes. I could answer anything you're interested in. Alrighty. Yes, okay, perfect, Ira. So I hope you try it and let me know how it worked. And well, basically, I'm sure it's gonna work. I know, because a lot of people tried it, I tried it, and it works like a charm. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming today. Put a like. Likes make me happy. That's the only thing that makes me happy, actually. Anyway, so see you next time. I don't know, we're gonna talk about something, whatever you like. Just write down what you want to talk about. Maybe you want to talk about, for example, starting a conversation or finding conversational partners on italki or whatever. Maybe something specific, maybe like English and traveling, for example. It's kind of a big subject, but we could come up with something. I have a lot of topics in my head, but just write if you have any suggestions, and then we could vote, okay? So if you guys liked it, give big heart or a like, whatever you prefer. Anyways, somebody is too late, right? Kate? Hi and bye. Anyway, guys, we're glad to see you. Today was a pretty short one, and I want to do short webinars. I don't want to bore people talking for 1.5 hours and rambling all over again. From now on, it's going to be 25 minutes, maybe even less. So little conversations, like if a friend of mine says here, Nick. Okay, guys, see you next time. Learn English and break your, not necessarily English, you might learn other languages, but learn the language you want, break the barrier, because it's unreal. The barrier doesn't exist. You know, it's just here because you think you can't. If you, man or woman, if you really look at other people who already speak well and they didn't speak well before, like for example, like 4 years ago, my English was like real bad. I couldn't understand a lot. I was struggling to speak. But then here I am, I help you learn English. So everything is possible for you. Lots of people did it. It might take more time. It might take less time. It all depends on how much time you're ready to invest. That's it. So anyway, I'm done. 24 minutes. I like talking, guys. I gotta limit myself. I'm glad you're here. See you next time, and please write down the topics you want to talk about the next time. It's very important what you want to talk about, not just what I want to talk about, okay? So, sending you a big hug from Argentina, Buenos Aires. Bye-bye. Ciao.